Welcome to Bunnies TV, live and free across Australia and around the globe. I'm joined by Milo. How are you, mate?
Mate, I'm excellent, mate. I'm really good. It's just a fantastic day today. A great win by the Rabbitohs last night.
We were at the game. We're going to talk about that in a minute. This is the New South Wales Cup special. Grand final awaits. But first, Milo, just tell the viewers and the listeners that might not know you a bit about yourself. So that's turned up there. Hang on a minute. I'll just turn that down. Hang on a minute. I've just got to turn off my Bluetooth. Yeah, so you're a Redfern boy.
I am. I'm born in Chippendale, and I've been a South supporter for a bloody long time.
You have.
And I love the Rabbits, and I work at Bunnies Golf Club just around the corner from where we are right now, from the Bunnies TV studios. And I've been working there for quite a while.
It's a good course, Bonnie, dude.
It is. It's a Group 1 course here in Sydney. We're a lovely small club. We've hosted a couple of Brave and Astor's tournaments the last 3 years.
Yep.
And, it's a fantastic life I lead. Getting around the golf course all day.
Yeah, well, I have had a hit with you there, me, you, Hocko, and mate, it's a beautiful course, and I thank you for allowing me to have a hit there. But it's in good nick too, isn't it? Just the greens are magnificent, aren't they?
Yes. Our head greenkeeper super is his name's Cameron Smith.
Oh, really?
And he's just a absolute genius with getting the greens looking fantastic. The whole course, he and our number two, Craig Jeeves, they're just fantastic guys to work with. But also they're quite young men who are really into the science of golf course.
So not Cameron Smith, the NRL legend, not Cameron Smith, the
legendary
golfer, that's the multiple major winner.
But no, Cameron Smith, the Group 1 golf course superintendent. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Well, he's only won the British, hasn't he, Cameron Smith? He hasn't, or has he won the PGA too?
No,
he won the PGA as well, hasn't he?
No, not yet. No, just the one.
Gave him an extra major, but he's a good player anyway.
the old Claret Jug is probably the number one golf trophy in the game.
Well, it sort of is, but you go back to Greg Norman winning it. He won it a couple of times, but the fact that he didn't win the green jacket, that sort of seems like it's the number one. Well, as far as Americans are concerned, anyway. But I know what you mean. That is the tradition.
It's the tradition. It's like the Ashes and things like that. It's the great trophy.
Exactly. Now we are live on YouTube, and if you're listening to this as a podcast, give us a 5-star review, please, and rating. We're joined by the Den Music. Hello, mate, and thank you for that little intro you made me, Den. I appreciate that, mate. So, you can live chat with us while we do the show. Now, we watched the game yesterday out at Leichhardt Oval with Josh Kemp and his partner, Patricia Smith.
Josh is a very knowledgeable guy, loves it, and you can tell he's very passionate about his team, no doubt about it.
He is. He goes to every game with the Borough that he possibly can. And we stood behind the dead ball line at both ends and changed at half time. So we had a good view of the game, didn't we?
It was excellent. I love that elevated position there at Leichhardt Oval. It makes the viewing really easy, and you get to see everything at a good height. Yeah. And
I haven't been to Leichhardt for years. It was actually quite good to go there, relive a few memories of old games as I've played there. My dad actually said, "Oh, I remember when you did 5 tackles in a row at Leichhardt." I should get him on the show to tell that story, but I remember the game when we played against the Tigers, and it was a wet game, and I backed up Bruce Longbottom and then got the ball, and then I passed it again. So I handled twice in the try, and then I give the last pass to Phil Blake, and he scored, and we won the game. So I've got some good memories of the old Leichhardt Oval. I'm just going to bring up the...
I can tell you that I loved watching the 1980 Midweek Cup Grand Final there that we won. It'd been our first trophy for a long time, and it was just an excellent night. It was just a really excellent night, that Bill Anderson trained South Sydney team.
It's got nothing on Redfern Oval, but anyway, it has got a lot of character, and those old suburban grounds. It's rugby league, isn't it? It's what it was all about. The Rabbitohs and the Tigers, and you lived at Balmain, and we lived at South Sydney.
The old scoreboard, the hill. Just that great atmosphere around Leichhardt Oval was fantastic last night. Yep. It really was.
So it was a good day at the footy. Highly recommend going and watching these boys play because they played some great footy. But there was a few Rabbitohs there. Club captain Cameron Murray. We saw Lockie Elias, Tane Milne, Davey Mawale, Junior Totola. I also saw former Rabbitohs old boys, Michael Andrews and Darryl Dirty Neville at the game. So there's a few there in the crowd.
And a few of the Flegg boys. I saw Jude Saldana and Aaron Macy were there. Yeah, so it was well supported by the club players.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Good on them. So the performance. We shot out to a lead in the first half. And who were some of your favourite performances in the game, mate?
Just straight up, Dion Tiapa had a fantastic game. He really stamped himself straight up, taking the ball and being really sure of his passing. His passing game was excellent last night.
It was.
It was really good. And look, Isaac Thompson, he's you can just play him anywhere.
Yep.
You can just play him anywhere. Really, he made some really big. He took the ball in that first half, and honestly, I think he was making more post-contact meters than anyone else.
He's like a forward playing out there in the backs and the centres and the wings.
It's that speed and the big body out there. He was making a really big difference to our game last night.
Well, those two you mentioned, Neon Dion, as we call him, and Big Isaac, both scored a try and set one up. So just shows the input. But apart from that, footy Dean Hawkins. We went and saw his mum Shane, who formed a little burrow on the
scoreboard
near the scoreboard, and next to that, the Bears. There's a lot of Bears fans there. They have got their a good following.
Well, look, I'll just say straight up that it was disappointing that we couldn't get. It felt like there was more North Sydney supporters there than South Sydney supporters last night.
There was.
They had quite a big presence. They were very loud for their team, which is, I mean, it makes the atmosphere great and all that. But you know, we really need to turn up at CommBank Stadium in 2 weeks' time.
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line. We really need to make the blue and gold out there red and green.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I think someone did mention, it might have been you or Josh said, that Bears team is their only team. So no wonder they've got a following that goes and watches them, because they don't have a first grade, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Back when I was playing, they did. But, you know, they got kicked out of the comp and the rest was history. So that does explain it a little bit. But, yeah, so
it was good to see those diehard North Sydney supporters, you know, coming from from that side of town, from over the bridge to come to Leichhardt Oval and support their team the way they did. And they were loud and proud. And that was really good. Made the atmosphere excellent.
Yep. So we said hello to Mum Shane, and she's at the start of the highlights video that I put out. And thanks to everyone who's had a look at that. I shared that on YouTube. If you haven't had a look, we really did capture some good footage of the game and a few of the players that were there and some of the stuff in the game. But yeah, footy Dean Hawkins, he was the difference in the end. His goal kicking was superb. His ball handling, he was directing the team around the park. He captained the side to perfection, and in the end, it was 5 tries all. And I'll put that graphic up because I haven't shown that yet. So we beat them 30. Oh, I did show 5 tries each, and you can see there, footy Dean Hawkins, 5 conversions, and all he did was miss that penalty where it hit the upright.
Well, you know, unbelievable. He's kicking him from the sideline, and from almost dead in front, he's managed to wobble it to hit the post and bounce away. Anyway, it happens.
But
I'm glad it wasn't one that was going to cost us the game.
No, that's right. So, and you were just saying Ben Stefanovic, he had a real bludger of a game with the...
Yeah, he wasn't... I mean, it was great. Alan Fitzgibbon scored 3 tries for them on the wing.
He played well.
Yeah, last night. He played well. He was big. He made a lot of tackle busts. He was quite a big presence on the field, the North Sydney winger. And... to the credit of South's defence, they made sure that he could only score in the corner. They followed through all the way, and that makes a big difference. You know, when you can't come around and plant the ball in a better position for your goal kicker.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
but honestly, Dean Hawkins was kicking there like he'd kicked there all his life last night.
Yeah, he did. It was really good. Putting him over from the sideline in an important game like that, and we're standing right behind the post filming it, so you can see that on the highlights package too. The Den Music says he was at Callum Park Friday, had a nice lunch there, and the new Had a nice, and he drove past the Oval as well. So the old Cullen Park, he weren't admitted as a patient. That was the old.
Oh no, I got to drive around there a little bit. I mean, there's still the old hospital wards and stuff like that, but they're doing a lot of development more to the eastern side of Cullen Park.
Oh, I see. I'm not saying you're mad, the Dead Music, but
northern side. Yeah,
it used to be the old thing. If you got a bit nuts, they'd say, well, you're going to end up at Cullen Park. So we've got thank you for everyone who's chatting, and the Den Music did also say that. Do you guys reckon that the Bears should be the next team as the new club in the NRL? Well, there's a lot of conjecture about that. There's a claim for the Newtown Jets, and they're another team that have in very similar position.
All the talk's been PNG, hasn't it? I mean, Albo's looking to shore up. It's a political. He wants to turn it into a bit of a political football. Really, it could be a situation, but. There's been a lot of talk about PNG having a team since it's the national sport there, and I mean, they're pretty logical, partner to be in the NRL. They support it's the national sport in PNG rugby league. They've got a great fan base, it'd be good for the NRL coffers really. At the end of the day, having a one team, one nation. Yeah,
they are footy mad over there, so that has got a lot of sense to it, that one. The Bears had a go with Manly. They were called the Northern Beagles for short, and it didn't work. But I wouldn't have a problem if they can somehow get some sort of consortium going. The Jets one is they were talking about forming a partnership with the WA Rugby League. So there's a few options. I think maybe the Central Coast. I don't know why the Central Coast hasn't got its own team. Maybe Norths could go there. That's something that I think makes sense because it's such a big area.
Well, they've been there, and I don't know what's currently happening with their whatever the situation is with the Central Coast. Maybe the Central Coast are looking to have a team in the New South Wales competition as well.
Yeah, well, they haven't even got that, so I suppose I'm not sure there. But of all areas that are a heartland of rugby league, that's one of them. And they just don't have a team, so I just always thought that was a bit strange. Hilson Waku has joined us, hello, and said, despite the setback in first grade, it's inspiring to witness the second grade team's resilience and determination as they head into the finals. That's very well said.
Well, he's also mentioning that he's a Papua New Guinean and he doesn't think they're ready yet, and maybe sometime later. Well, thanks for your insights there, Hilson.
Yeah, beautiful. And he also said their performance has been commendable, and I'm confident they will give it their all and win the final. So I had someone make a comment that we're going to win the grand final because we're getting Blake Taft back. And
well, it's a big in. It is a massive in. And having Gagai back out in the centres is also a luxury as well. He's played brilliantly at fullback while Blake was doing his first grade stuff, but you can see the difference when Blake's there, the speed he injects from fullback, and that great first grade experience that he does have, the big game experience. I mean, he's played in an NRL grand final. It's a massive amount at fullback.
Yep.
And he knows the pain of losing a grand final. So to have him there on grand final day, knowing what he knows. Is a big in for the Rabbits.
So a few people asked about him, and he had to have the week off because he copped that knee that really didn't help the Rabbitohs' cause when he had to go off. It left us with 16 men, but it was just one of those freak accidents, and he had to have the week off, but he is eligible, and he gets another week to get the mind right too. So that's going to be good for all the boys who've got little niggles. We're going to head out to training a couple of times, I think, do some more interviews, because we did a few interviews last week. One of them was with Jackson Rame, who features in our tries we're going to get through in a minute.
Well, we love people on Bunnies TV to know their team. You know, that's the thing. We want everybody that's watching us right now to also see all the players at our club, and also, there's some great stories with all the blokes that play for our club.
So just finishing off good performances. So Tallis Duncan, he was playing that link role. Precision passes, very much like Cameron Murray does. It was super footy from Tallis, and he was getting right in there amongst it too. Ben Lovett as well. Big defence, running great decoy in lines. Shaq Mitchell, you mentioned earlier, he was sensation, running the ball, bursting through the gap. Didn't you like seeing that? And that's going to be try one coming up in a minute. And Pete Mamazelis, we were full of praise of Peter.
He is a tackling machine.
Yeah.
He was our top tackler last night. He really kept the Bears in their place. Honestly, if a Bear came near him, they were down. That was it. They weren't going anywhere past Pete last night.
But not only that, his ball work from dummy half. It's as good as anyone really in the NRL as well. His passes that he fires out hit the player on the chest, and that gives those players the opportunity to take advantage of that.
He's got very good vision, Peter. He has. He's got excellent vision. Yep. He really sees the game well. Yeah.
And we did notice when he come off, Shannon Gardner has been playing well. Okay, but when Shannon Gardner came on, is when the Bears hit back. I'm not blaming you, Shannon, because you've been playing good. But then when Pete come back, they sort of brought the defence together in the middle, and they end up winning the game.
Yeah, I mean, look, Shannon Gardner has been playing brilliantly.
He has.
He's been an excellent super sub. He's really filled in well. His speed out of dummy half. He also, he was just, I don't know, if it was just a bit of an off night, maybe one thing goes wrong and then it just tumbles into another couple of things. But honestly, look, I love Shannon Gardner, what he's been doing this season of the games that I've watched. He's really, we can't do without him because, I mean, you can rely on him to probably spark something when needed.
And in his defence, I mean, the Bears come out firing in that second half, and they had to because it was a grand final.
It was on the line. It was on the line.
On the line. So, and speaking of Gardner's, David Gardner's joined us and said, "Fantastic win and bring on the grand final." Thank you, mate. So we're going to have a look at the tries, and they're all up on Bunnies TV, but I'm going to show them to you here. So try one, Dion Tialpa. So Jackson Rame, a little short ball for Shaq. A little bit to do, and he nearly beats the fullback.
Nice little step there, left foot step.
And offloads to Dion Tialpa. Beautiful support work from the guy we call Dion Tialpa.
And the Omens were there last night. The Bears scored first, just like the Warriors did the previous week.
Yep.
And then our try came, and it was Dion scoring, just like he had the previous week. I can't help it. I get a little bit superstitious.
Yep.
And when that happened, I felt actually I was in a good place. I thought, yep. And it was a good crisp try. I just loved the way that Shaq stood in there, didn't panic, looked around, and there was Dion, hungry for the ball, right on the spot and over.
So I shared our highlights package last night and had a bit of a look at the tries. But then today, I shared each try individually on our Instagram and Facebook and also on our TikTok. And while I did that, I noticed that every try had a little bit of touch of class about it. I mean, that one there was beautiful work. Now have a look at this second one. There's not one try that you're not going to go, these boys are playing well. So try two, Isaac Tuatupo Thompson. So Pete Mamazelis, another good ball, straight out to Dion Tialpa. Face ball in front of Benny Lovett. Hits Isaac on the chest, who goes over untouched, the big fella.
And bring it around as well. Yep. But here, this is what I liked. It was just the way that they knew exactly what they needed to do in that play. As soon as Dion got the ball, Benny Lovett knew to keep his hands down, and it was just a crisp pass straight to Isaac Thompson, who went over untouched. Just lovely to watch.
It was great. So being down 4-0, all of a sudden we're up 2-1, and Dean Organs is putting them over. That was an easy kick for him. And Dan Music said, "Do you reckon the Bunnies versus New Zealand in the grand?" Well, look, we beat New Zealand last week, didn't we? And I think they might have had a few out. So they expect
that's
them
right.
To be better.
Exactly. I thought we got lucky because basically the Warriors had to play a few of their reserve grade players because they wanted to rest a lot of guys for that Penrith game yesterday.
Yeah.
So we had that bit of luck, and I mean that's what you need at the end of the day to get through final series and into the big dance. That's the New South Wales Cup game in 2 weeks' time.
So look, the Bears are a good side too. So that's going to be an interesting game next Saturday at Leichhardt Oval.
They'll be really unhappy about it. Coach JT will be. Yep. He'll be fuming about that they've missed their opportunities. But you could see in the second half when they were coming back that when they get a bit of luck, they get a penalty, they get some field position. Their number 6, the 5'8" for the Bears, he was running some lines across field and linking up with guys, and it was looking dangerous the whole time. They've got a fairly nice kicking game, so it's going to be an interesting game. But of course, I think the Warriors, they'll get all their players back. They're a big team of boys there at the Warriors. They are, and that was a big win by them against the Raiders yesterday, 49-6. I mean, that's a massacre.
Score. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the sort of hit out you need for before taking on the Bears next week. Anyway, we'll see.
We'll see. It's going to be interesting.
And look, and I just hope that they bash each other.
Say the same thing. Rip right in, boys, next Saturday, and we'll have a look at that game on. It'll probably be live streamed on the New South Wales Rugby League Facebook page. Now, be careful of what links you click on for these streams, because there's a lot of scumbags out there that put these dodgy New South Wales Rugby League links up, and then they ask for a credit card. Just so you know, go to the official New South Wales Rugby League Facebook page. It's got the blue tick, and they will put the stream there, and they will never ask you for any money. Make sure you go to the right place.
That's right. It's live and free on New South Wales Rugby League, the final series.
On Facebook.
On Facebook, that's right.
Now, Tyrone Munro's first try. Now, Tallis Duncan straightens, picks up Dean Hawkins, gives it to Gags, and a beautiful quick ball from Gags to Tyrone Munro, who goes over and scores the try and does what he does best, finishes for the Rabbits.
Again, I've just been enjoying the way Jacob Gagai inserts himself in places, and he knows how to flick the ball on crisply. He always makes sure that his eyes are on the ball and that he's got it in his hands before he does that quick move.
You like Gags, don't you? I heard you sing out on that. You might not know if you heard it on the call
last
there,
week.
But in that one you said good job, good pass, Jacob. So and we're right there. So that encouragement, those boys are hearing that, and they know that they've got support at the game.
Yeah, and it was. Look, Dean again. Tallis Duncan straightening that up. Got the outside Norths players into two minds. They stopped there for a second.
They did,
and then that got the roll going and it made it easier for Tyrone to score in the corner. That subtle right foot step that straightened that up.
Yes.
It stopped two players. It stopped two Bears players.
It does, and what that does is it creates that space that Tyrone used.
And again, we're
over.
using the decoy runners. The decoy runners are did a great job last night.
They did. There
was no interference at all. They ran the inside shoulder the whole time they were doing their decoy runs.
They did, and try 5. Stand by for that. Don't go anywhere, because that's the try of the day. And we've been joined by Bakes 1964. He said, great offload by Shaq. It was. What about the skill of this big fella? He's a great player. And Rabbit has joined us and said, go the Bunnies. Well said. Now, this is the next try, and it is Tyrone's try number 2. Now, Pete Mamazels goes one way, sells it, and finds Gags again, who gives it to Leonard Skelton. And that was the money ball, the flick to Tyrone, who scores his second try of the evening. And
you see, and I just love the way that Tyrone had a look up and noticed that the Bears players were all downhearted by it, and he got to come around and put in a great spot for Dean Hawkins to kick the goal. You just need those extra points all the time. It doesn't matter what score you're up by. You make sure you put those points on, so you never. You don't give the opposition any chance of coming back into the game.
There's nothing worse than when someone just dives over when they could bring it around. It's one of my things that I notice, and it happened in a game of NRL. I can't think of which one it was, and the guy, he could have brought it around a bit, and he didn't, and the goal kicker missed the kick.
Yeah.
So that shows the experience of Tyrone.
You don't want to be lazy. It's showing Tyrone's not a lazy is not a lazy player. He thinks that they're all thinking about each other. I mean, they're a very. You can see every time a try was scored, the whole team was in on the celebration. They're a really tight bunch. I know you're going to point out the incident there with Ethan O'Neill, but I've just had a look at that, and I think that the Norths player actually anticipated O'Neill getting the ball and actually went in for the tackle there.
So let's have a look at that. So Ethan O'Neill is the lead runner, and he does make contact. So if it went to the bunker, it may well have been called back, but it comes down to the fact that he didn't really have an impact on the play out there, but sometimes that doesn't matter. There was an in-goal touchy right there. So if you just look at earlier, the lead runner, so you watch Ethan O'Neill here, comes through, and the Norths player goes down on the ground. And, so that might well have been called back. But like I said, it's one of those ones that it doesn't matter. It's in the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's
on the scoreboard. It's so it doesn't matter. Now, Nicky Bird's joined us. Father of the great Thomas Fletcher, who's a star on the rise in this club, and he's a big lump of a lad. He's doing well. He's a student teacher too, that I know, and he's working with a friend of mine who has only got great things to say about him. He's a lovely young kid, and you should be proud of him, Nick. The Den Music said our pathways are looking pretty good and growing for the future. I'm so pleased that these young players are showing on the field. It's awesome. So that's right. And anyone who saw my interview with Joe O'Callaghan, who is the boss of the pathways, would see that we have got plans to bring a lot of kids through. There's some new signings coming along. And some of the kids that have been in this program that Joe has set up are starting to flourish in first grade. He mentioned guys like Tallis Duncan that didn't just make their debut, they played well on their debut. So they don't just want to breed regular first graders. They want to breed kids that can come through and excel. And that's what's happening with this Pathways program. There's some other great kids coming through. He mentioned about 7 or 8 kids in that interview I did with Joe. If you haven't seen it, go back and have a look. And Split God's joined us, formerly known as Split God. He's called Soccer Bros. The team is better than our first grade team. Now, I have heard that. They could have, they might have played a bit better than what we did against the Chookies. I don't know. But, yeah, look at the way they're playing. And they're playing as a team and they're executing their attack.
They are. They're a very tight unit, the New South Wales Cup team. They've been a very stable side over the last few weeks.
They have.
The regular... It's a very stable team. There hasn't been too many outs. They've been blessed by not having too many injuries over the last few weeks.
Just touch the microphone. Then we'll have a drink now. So we led 24-4, I think it was.
And then that's when things started to go awry.
Yeah, so the Bears look sharp. And you just mentioned it. They are a good side. And they were looking dangerous. We were worried that we were going to get run down and beaten. And I didn't show any of the Bears' tries because they were up the other end. And we were standing behind the post where our boys were coming. But they did look dangerous. They are a good footy side. They did win the minor premiership for a reason. But we just held on. And in the second half.
Again, it's just these little things that happen. You'll get it'll be a penalty for something inconsequential. We thought some of the penalties were just, I don't know where he got them from, but anyway, they happen. A good kick in the touch, some field position, and then one line break here, and they had a couple of tackle busts here and there. And they were over and getting the points, and then the momentum swung quite heavily, and it was looked like they were going to square up basically with 16 minutes to go. Yeah,
their lock, I think, was it Zach Docker-Clay? He was playing great footy. He was bouncing off tackles. Very hard to tackle.
Yeah, Docker-Clay, I think he was They had Jake Turpin down as the lock last night and Docker-Clay as the second rower.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, regardless, they're playing in the middle. And, Docker-Clay was having a great game, and he was having a real time of it.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have a look at this last try now. It is a super try. There's actually 9 players involved in this try. Only 5 actually touch it, but this is the Tom Carr try. Enjoy this. So Pete Mamazelis gets a long ball out to Tallis Duncan, who gets to Footy Dean Hawkins, finds Dion Taupo, rifles it out to Isaac Tuatupo Thompson, and there's Tommy Carr with a big swan dive for the try. But what you might not have noticed there, which is that there's 3 decoy runners, Shaq Mitchell, and also Jackson Rami and Benny Lovett all run decoys. So 9 players out of the 13 were involved in that try, and it was a thing of beauty.
And as you can watch it too, is after the first 2 the next 2 passes after Pete gets rid of it from dummy half, he's basically it clears 2 Bears defenders both times. So Dean Hawkins puts it on to Dion, and it cleared basically 4 Bears players in defence, and Isaac Thompson probably, at the end of the day, you can see he did the right thing by just sort of stepping back inside with his left foot step inside and just straightening the attack. Yeah. He stopped the winger from going across any further than he did. He did. And then he got the pass out there. And, Tom Carr, he can finish it. He can finish a try.
He can.
He knows how to finish him off. And that was a thing of beauty to see him fly through the air like that. That was really... as good as I've seen Dallin Wateni Zelezniak pull off leaps like that, and that was as good as any of his.
Yeah, I
And
do.
so Tommy Carr, big kudos to you, mate.
I do love a swan dive try, and
well, yeah.
but look, I'm gonna show it again. But just take notice of the 5 perfect passes, the bit of work that Isaac does at the end, but then the 3 decoy runners coming through. So, like I said, nine bodies in motion here. The Tommy Carr try. So, pass. There's Shaq going through. There's Jackson going through. And then there's Benny going through. And then, so that just creates that space on the outside that was the game changer because we won by 4 points. That was the last 4-pointer. That was our 5th try. They scored 5 tries. And so it is exciting. Anthony Grunstein's joined us and said, the future looks so bright. Yes, it does. And Soccer Bros said that they should bring Munro and Duncan into the team more often. Well, I think they will. They did this year. They both got a fair bit of game time. JD didn't want to rush Tyrone, and he's only a young kid. Like Tyrone was playing SG ball at the start of the year. You've got to remember that. He's only a young kid, and he's got a bit of growing and maturing to do. But from what we've seen of him, he's not looking out of place in first grade. He's solid under the high ball. He's got a big future, and the same with Tallis. I mean, I think Tallis, what we saw from him in the back end of the season, and JD said this to me when I interviewed him, he has to be there in that 17 coming off the bench.
He's got for a guy his size, and he'll no doubt fill out a lot more over the off season, and he's got a big ticker. Some of the big tackles he did in first grade, his tackling is fantastic. He put in he did a mountain of work last night as well. It was Dion Tiapa, fantastic defensive effort last night as well. He was strong in defence, really good with his passing game, and we're looking bright with the young players. I have a really good feeling for our stocks for next season with the way these guys have played this season, and hopefully, we can not only put the New South Wales knock-on effect cup trophy into the cupboard, but these guys can grow from that experience,
Exactly.
and you want to be, you like your. It's good to have our reserve grade team playing in a big game, so they can they can feel that sort of pressure of a big game and get them ready for what's to come in their footballing careers.
Well, the timing of it couldn't be better because all of us Rabbitohs fans are kicking stones and we didn't have anything to watch.
Well, that's right. We had
and all
nothing.
Of a sudden, we've got, Bunnies TV's got a show to do about it, and we've got a game to go and watch. And so we're going to talk about that in a minute. We are wearing our merchandise, so you can buy these hoodies, $50, and the shirts for $20. And there's a link in the description of this video to do that. I'm also setting up the website so you can actually purchase on the website, but that's coming soon, just in time for Christmas. Gifts for your friends. They are comfortable, these, and they're pretty good quality, the stuff. Now, a young fella called Oscar bought a hoodie off me, and I delivered that to him, and he was very happy. He loves the show. And just look at the back there. I got him to turn around. There it is. Bunnies TV on the back. We have got a new Instagram, Bunnies TV AU, and please give us a follow there if you're on Instagram. Bunnies TV is brought to you by Dot Build Constructions, and this month is Supply Diversity September, and Dot Build is supporting that. Go to Dot Build's Instagram page, and they've got a list of ways that you can support Supplier Diversity September. And Milo, you just asked me a little bit about Dot Build.
I did. I wanted to know if there was any job too small for Dot Build.
No.
And that was a very pleasing thing to hear that people can go they can call Dot Build and talk to the boys there at Dot Build, and they can sort them out for anything in their homes that they need to get done.
That's right. So they can do a bathroom reno, they can change the sink, any job no job is too big or too small for the guys at Dot Build. We're also brought to you by Blast Pit Fitness and Empowerment. Are you ready to get blasted? Site Pizza Maroubra. Now there's Glenn, and that gnocchi there is delicious. We had that when I went and seen him last week, and they do some great meals at Maroubra Site Pizza. So it's not just pizza, it's a whole dining experience. We're also brought to you by the Juniors Group of Clubs, and that's the Juniors Kingsford there. And there's the light rail that takes you all the way to town, and you can see town in the background there.
I was very happy to know that all of September it's 49% off drinks even though I haven't had a drink for quite a long time.
Yeah.
It's a very tempting offer, 49% off drinks for every day in September. So, unbelievable.
So that's at all 3 clubs between 5 and 7 p.m. for the whole month of September. And there's some good shows coming up. I think Elvis, the show impersonator, is on. Well, he's obviously not the real Elvis, but that's on the 14th of September, coming up soon. And
no doubt they'll also have the they'll have the New South Wales Cup Grand Final on the big screen, no doubt.
They will. And the NRL.
If you can't make it out to CommBank Stadium,
correct,
please come out to CommBank Stadium. We need all the support we can get. Let's get them over the line.
We're going to get to that in a minute. But you haven't had a drink for 12 years. You must have given it a nudge before then.
I have. I've become allergic to the stuff, unfortunately.
Okay, good. Also brought to you by NG Farrow, the best real estate in the business. You're watching this on our George's camera, and this is the Sony A7 IV. Now, that hybrid camera, we have got one on Bunnies TV. That is a camera that the professional can use, the amateur. It's a camera that has got equally as good video as it has taken photos. So that camera there, it shoots in slow-mo video. That is a great camera. So go into George Street City or georges.com.au and they'll sort you out. And last but not least, we are brought to you by Darryl Lee, where there's something special in every bite. Now, it's been a good show, mate. I've enjoyed your company. We'll have to do this more often.
For sure.
Now,
it has been fun.
Now, next Saturday, we're just going to mention before we go, thanks to everyone who's joined us. And the Den Music said, lads, great show. There you go. I read.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. Great afternoon, Mavo Milo. Awesome work as always. So, yes. And so, yeah, next Saturday, we did mention it before, the 16th of September, the Warriors will play the Bears at Leichhardt Oval. And the winner meets the Rabbitohs in the grand final. Now, that grand final...
And we just hope that they bash each other.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, attention all Rabbitohs watching this. All South supporters, the grand final is midday, Sunday the 24th of September at CommBank Stadium. That's the old Parramatta Stadium. Please attend and support our boys. Now, we'll be there.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. We are definitely going to be there.
Yeah. And Soccer Bro said, love your show, boys. And Karina Haas has joined us. Our
Hello,
German
Karina.
Joined us from all the way from Germany. And guten Tag to you. Now, she's following the Rugby World Cup over there too, and she's got an interest in that. Go the Aussies. I don't know what sort of a chance we've got, but I just noticed that the French beat the All Blacks. That was a bit of an upset, I'd say.
The home team, mate.
Yeah.
When you bring in the big crowd to get you over the line, sometimes it works.
Yeah.
You know, but they've got a good side. The French. The French have actually been the favourites with the bookmakers for the tournament. So
yeah. So back to the grand final.
Anyway,
now, I have been at CommBank Stadium. I went to the first game the Rabbitohs play there. It is a magnificent stadium for watching rugby league. So if you haven't gone, you've got no excuse now, because next Sunday at midday, you can go to the CommBank. You can watch the boys.
Not next Sunday. Sunday fortnight.
Sunday fortnight, sorry.
Sunday fortnight, folks.
So Sunday fortnight, there'll be an NRL semi-final on, say, at 4 o'clock on the Arvo. So
Jersey Flag grand final might happen there as well.
No excuse not to go out to CommBank. There's plenty of public transport takes you there, and the boys will appreciate your support. And, you know, like I said, you got nothing else. The first grade's out.
We need another trophy in the cabinet, folks. Yeah. We need another trophy in the cabinet. Come out. It'll be our first New South Wales Cup. So if we manage to win this grand final, it'll be our first New South Wales Cup. It's quite a big deal, really. And it is.
So what happens if we win, Milo, is...
The most exciting thing about that is that we'll be off to Accor Stadium the next week to play the Cane Toad winning team.
Yes.
In the Interstate Challenge trophy, so we're a chance of actually taking 2 trophies home in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we can't actually confirm that, but that's what's been happening the last few years. The winner of the Q Cup and the winner of the Knock-On Effect New South Wales Cup meet in the curtain raiser. And wouldn't that be good? So to all you Rabbitohs fans that bought grand final tickets after round 11 when we were leading the comp and have still got them,
hold on to them, folks.
You might be able to go and watch the mighty Rabbits.
Yep.
Out there, and hopefully you can go and watch someone beat the Panthers. I don't know who it's going to be. Maybe the Broncos, but I don't think it's going to be the...
It looks more and more like a Broncos Penrith grand final.
It does.
It does.
Yep. All right, we'll let you go there. Thanks, everyone. And CJ Moxley's just joined us. He said, afternoon, I'm going to go to the New South Wales Cup grand final. Where can I find tickets, or are they sold at the gate? Now, I'm not sure. We will find out, and I will put a post up.
That's right.
The
We're
week.
2 weeks away. We're 2 weeks away. They won't do anything for right now.
Yeah.
But as soon as the game next week is finished between the Warriors and North Sydney Bears, I'm sure everything will come into play, and hopefully the New South Wales Rugby League can do a much better job. The NRL can do a much better job and have those tickets available online, not for people just to turn up and have people just lining up for hours trying to get in.
Yeah, well, and I suspect...
And look, I hope that New South Wales Rugby League are listening to us right now.
Oh, they watch.
Get your shit together. Thanks.
I suspect that either way, it's not going to be like a massive crowd. It is New South Wales Cup. It is in first grade, and that is a big stadium. So either way, if you've got pre-booked tickets or you don't, then you're going to be able to get in, because I think you might only get a crowd of 4,000 or 5,000. I could be wrong. There might be 10. But I don't think you're going to have any trouble getting a ticket to go in and watch the boys. Whether you pre-book one.
We have 30,000 members. Feel free for at least all 30,000 to turn up.
Yeah, well,
we can all fit in there. Fit in there.
Let's get 15,000 of yous. Even if 5 or 10 of yous, 5 or 10,000.
Honestly, we need to bring down the house and take home our first New South Wales Cup. I think it's the sort of fill-up we need for the season that's gone. It's not so good, having to deal with the fact that we finished 9th and we were up in first place after 11 rounds. But there's a little bit of spark left down around the South Sydney area with our New South Wales Cup team. Let's get out there and support them and get them over the line and take it and put a trophy in the cabinet, and hopefully 2 after that. Another one after it. Yeah.
Well, this is a unique show. It's probably one of the first times we've done a show here on Bunnies TV when we haven't spoken about the first grade, and the reason for that is because it's been a real hell of a season, and we have got this New South Wales Cup team in the grand final. But before we go, it was horrible seeing the Roosters beat the Sharks, because that could have been us, and it was just a real disaster the way the season ended. Well, let's hope that the boys can just regroup and get it right next year.
And we will. No, we will. I'm sure of it. We've got good stuff. We've got good stuff in place. I feel confident that we will, and we've got great players coming through, and it'll be interesting to see what Jack Whiten brings to the team next season as well. A good, one of the great rugby league players of all time. Really,
he is.
He's been around for I don't know what 10 or 12 seasons.
Well, isn't he a Clive Churchill medalist?
Well, he was. That's right. He was the Clive Churchill medalist of that grand final that they lost.
Yeah, it's a rarity. That's a trivia question. How many players from the opposition have won the Clive Churchill medal? He's a great player, and you only got to go back to the World Cup of last year, was it, at the start of the year? Him and Trell were in the centres, so getting two mates together like Trell and Jack could be special. Could be in for some great footy. And
look, if the gods of injuries smile upon us, we'll go a long way for sure.
If anything, in the end, we weren't good enough towards the end of the season. This could be a good refresh for all the team, because a lot of these guys at the Rabbitohs have only ever seen top 4 final success. Now they've got a whole off-season to have a good look at themselves. We have got the quality there. And like I did mention Joe O'Callaghan's interview the other day, Joe is so full of confidence that we have got the players coming through. And he's confident that JD is going to win us a competition. He's confident that Latrell will regain his form at fullback. And this team will be back playing finals footy, and this club will have success next year and beyond.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. See you later. Thanks, Milo.
See you, mate.